The galaxy had changed a lot in the 1,000 years since humans were last seen. For most civilizations, humanity was just a story, a myth told to young aliens about the fierce creatures who once ruled the stars. Their cities, their ships, their endless curiosity all gone, erased by time, or so everyone thought. In the Orcs cluster, a small alien scouting team hovered over a strange, rocky planet. The explorers were tall, with pale green skin and eyes like liquid silver. They called themselves the Yalans, and they were known for their curiosity. On this mission, they sought ancient civilizations, hoping to find treasures or knowledge from the long-lost past. The planet looked dead at first. Crumbling structures dotted the surface like broken teeth. Strange metal fragments lay scattered across deserts of reddish sand. The Yalan's sensors picked up faint energy traces, but nothing strong. "It must be an abandoned colony," said Commander Veery, the leader. "There is no life here." Still, curiosity burned in their hearts. They landed in the largest ruined city. Tall towers had collapsed into jagged piles, and streets were cracked and broken. Statues of creatures long forgotten were scattered around. Something about the place felt strange, almost as if it was watching them. "We are not alone," whispered one of the younger Yalans, though no one heard it. Inside the largest tower, they found strange machines. Some were dark and lifeless, but others flickered with tiny sparks of energy. Commander Veery activated a scanner. Data streams appeared, ancient human writings flashing across the screen. The language was old and most of it had been lost to time, but patterns of intelligence were clear. "These humans, they were brilliant," Veery muttered. "Even their ruins contain power." Suddenly, the ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceilings. The machines began to hum softly as if waking from a long sleep. The Yalans froze. One of the devices emitted a blue pulse, lighting up the ruins like lightning in the dark. "What is that?" gasped another alien. Before anyone could answer, a loud noise echoed outside. Ships appeared in the sky, not alien ships but human ships, sleek and shining with strange energy. They moved silently, almost gliding over the surface, and landed near the Yalan's craft. The explorers felt a mix of fear and awe. The humans, they were alive. They didn't attack. They just watched. Tall, muscular, yet graceful humans moved with confidence. Their eyes were sharp, their expressions calm but unreadable. Strange devices were attached to their bodies, glowing softly, and the humans carried weapons that seemed more like tools of creation than instruments of war. Commander Veery tried to speak. "We thought you were extinct." A human stepped forward, looking at the Yalans with a curious tilt of the head. He spoke in a clear voice, translated by the Yalan's devices. "Extinct? No, just growing." The words hung in the air. The Yalan's mind struggled to process them. Growing for 1,000 years? How? Before they could react further, the humans did something unexpected. They raised their hands, and with a wave of energy, the ground trembled. A wall of stone rose to block the Yalan's retreat. Then, with another pulse, the ruins around them seemed to repair themselves. Cracked towers straightened, debris lifted, and machinery restarted as if the city had been sleeping, waiting for its masters to return. The Yalans gasped in disbelief. They had never seen technology like this. Energy bent the laws of physics. Machines obeyed thought. It was alive in a way they could not understand. The humans did not speak again. Instead, they turned and left, walking toward their ships. Commander Veery called out, but the voice was lost in the hum of energy. The aliens felt both fear and admiration. Something about these humans was beyond anything they had known. Back on their scouting ship, the Yalans tried to process what they had seen. The records of humanity had described them as clever, stubborn, and sometimes reckless. But nothing in history had prepared them for this. The humans had survived, evolved, and returned stronger than any creature in the galaxy had imagined. News traveled fast. Across the Orcs cluster, alien scholars and leaders debated the meaning of the humans' return. Some thought it a threat, others thought it a miracle. A few whispered that humanity might be ready to reclaim the stars, and that they might change everything. Meanwhile, far from the Orcs cluster, human colonies thrived in hidden star systems. Humans had adapted to challenges no other species could survive. On frozen planets, they built cities underground, using heat and energy to create life where none could exist. In asteroid belts, they carved vast complexes for research and production. On gas giants, they floated cities that harvested energy from storms. Every colony was connected through a network of intelligence, learning, sharing, and growing. 1,000 years had not weakened humanity. It had strengthened them. They had learned patience, strategy, and innovation. They had learned to survive the harshest conditions, to endure the worst of nature, and to rise above it. But humans were not reckless conquerors. They remembered the lessons of the past, the wars, the destruction, the mistakes. They had seen other civilizations rise and fall, and they chose a different path. Their power was meant not for domination, but for protection and guidance. And yet, the humans knew that the galaxy was not ready for them. Not fully. First, they would test, observe, and learn. The aliens must see humanity not as monsters or myths, but as a species that could change the future for all life. Back on the Yalan's ship, Commander Veery made the decision that would echo across the cluster. "We must report this," she said. "All of it, every detail." Her crew hesitated. They had seen power beyond comprehension. Some feared that reporting humanity's return might start a war before anyone understood them. Others believed that knowledge was always better than ignorance. Veery's decision was made. The galaxy would soon know that humanity had returned, and when they did, everything would change. In the darkness of space, hidden among stars and shadows, humans continued their work. Ships floated silently, research stations hummed with energy, and people trained, learned, and grew stronger. The galaxy had forgotten them once, but soon it would remember. And when the memory came, it would be more than just fear or awe. It would be respect. The first pulse of light from a human ship lit up the void near the Orcs cluster. It was a signal, subtle but powerful. A message for anyone who was ready to see. We are back, and we have learned. The aliens watched from afar, unaware of the scale of what they had triggered. Some were curious, some were afraid, but all knew that humanity was no longer a story from the past, it was the future. The ruins of the old human city whispered in the wind, carrying secrets that had been hidden for 1,000 years. Machines hummed, buildings shifted, and energy flowed in ways no alien could fully understand. Humanity had returned, not as weak survivors, but as something greater, something unstoppable, yet controlled. And somewhere, deep in the shadows, the humans prepared for the galaxy to meet them. Not with anger, not with conquest, but with a promise that the species that had once vanished would now rise, stronger and wiser than ever. The galaxy had barely begun to whisper about humanity's return when the first demonstrations of their power began. Alien civilizations, long confident in their dominance, found themselves unsure, anxious, and fascinated all at once. Humans were no longer a vanished species of the past. They were something entirely new. In the Orcs cluster, the Yalans could not stop talking about what they had seen. Commander Veery had reported every detail of their encounter. The human city ruins, the machines that obeyed thought, the silent yet commanding humans, and the pulse of energy that had lit up the planet. Scholars debated the meaning. Military leaders prepared for possible conflict. Traders wondered whether humans could be allies or threats. Yet the humans themselves moved carefully, observing the galaxy before revealing their full strength. They did not seek war. They did not rush into conquest. Instead, they tested. They tested planets, ecosystems, and civilizations with precision, showing the galaxy what humanity had become. On the frozen world of Krylon, humans appeared without warning. A deadly storm had raged for months, making colonization impossible. The native alien inhabitants had fled underground, their crops destroyed and their cities damaged. When the storm seemed unstoppable, human ships arrived. They hovered above the ice and sent pulses of energy into the atmosphere. Winds calmed, temperatures normalized, and water flowed into frozen rivers. Within hours, the planet was habitable again. The aliens were stunned. How could humans survive the void, the storms, and the deadly cold? Their technology was advanced, yes, but so precise, so controlled, and so intelligent that it seemed almost magical. News of Krylon spread like wildfire, reaching planets that had never thought humans existed. Meanwhile, humans acted on another front. In the asteroid belt of Viral, they discovered a rogue group of alien warships planning raids on peaceful colonies. The humans did not attack immediately. Instead, they sent drones to disable the ship's engines silently. When the alien warships tried to fire their weapons, nothing happened. Hulls were untouched, crews unharmed, yet every ship was immobilized. The humans then delivered a message. Violence is unnecessary when wisdom can prevail. Galactic leaders were alarmed. Some saw humans as a threat that had to be eliminated before they grew too strong. Others began to see the opportunity. A human civilization that combined strength, intelligence, and caution could be a partner unlike any other. On one of their hidden command stations, humans gathered in a vast chamber of light and glass. Leaders from various colonies connected via holograms. They spoke calmly, their faces resolute. "We must continue to show restraint," said Captain Alara, one of the human strategists. "The galaxy fears what it does not understand. We cannot rush. Patience is our advantage." Her words carried weight. Humans had learned the hard way that power without control led to destruction. They remembered the mistakes of their ancient wars, the times when pride had nearly led to extinction. Now, strength was paired with careful judgment. As humans worked quietly, the aliens continued to speculate. Some, like the Yalans, advocated for observation. "Let us learn what they want," Commander Veery said during a council meeting. "Perhaps they are not enemies." Others were not so patient. The Trellics, a militaristic race with scales of bronze and claws like blades, called for preemptive strikes. "If they grow, if we delay, humans will dominate us all," their leader hissed. "Better to act now than be crushed later." But humans did not act aggressively. Instead, they sent messages encoded in light pulses and quantum signals. They offered knowledge, agriculture methods for barren planets, energy solutions for dying worlds, even advice on trade and diplomacy. Each message carried an unspoken reminder: we are here, we are capable, but we do not seek conflict. Despite these gestures, not all alien leaders trusted humans. Some feared that their power could not be contained. Entire fleets were mobilized in secret, ready for any possible attack. Yet, when the time came, humans never attacked first. They remained patient, allowing the galaxy to witness their restraint as clearly as their strength. Meanwhile, human scientists explored beyond known space. They mapped hidden wormholes, discovered stable energy sources near black holes, and cataloged dangerous anomalies that no alien species dared approach. They sent their findings to selected alien civilizations, showing not only their intelligence but also their willingness to cooperate. On one distant planet, a young alien named Lyra stood on a cliff, gazing at the sky as human ships passed overhead. She had grown up hearing stories of human extinction, yet here they were, brighter, stronger, and wiser than any legend had ever described. "They're incredible," she whispered to her companion. "Why haven't they conquered us?" Her companion shrugged. "Perhaps they see more than we do. Perhaps power means more than domination." Lyra thought about that. Humans had returned, yes, but they did not seek to rule. They sought to elevate, to improve, to survive, not alone but in a galaxy where all species could thrive. In the shadows, Not all aliens shared Lyra's perspective. Secret councils debated humanity's motives. Some argued that humans must have a hidden agenda. Others noted that every human action, from saving planets to disabling rogue warships, avoided bloodshed. They wondered if the humans were playing a longer game, one that the galaxy might not yet understand. For humans, the game was simple. Knowledge, preparation, and patience had ensured survival for 1,000 years. They had endured cosmic storms, hostile planets, and scarcity of resources. They had survived by working together, learning faster and thinking smarter than any other species. And now, the galaxy was learning the same lesson. On the ship known as Aurora, Captain Alara watched reports from multiple star systems. Each message brought tales of awe, fear, and curiosity. Aliens were beginning to understand that humans were no longer the same species that had vanished from history books. Humans were a force of ingenuity and resilience, tempered by wisdom. Alara turned to her crew. "We cannot reveal all our strength yet," she said. "Let them see our progress but not our full potential. Let them understand patience, not fear. When the time is right, the galaxy will be ready to accept humanity as it should be, guides, protectors, and equals." Her crew nodded, understanding that restraint was as much a weapon as their advanced technology. Each human action was deliberate, each intervention carefully measured. As months passed, alien societies slowly adapted to the reality of human power. Trade negotiations began, cautiously at first, with humans offering advanced technology in exchange for resources and knowledge. Some aliens embraced these opportunities eagerly. Others watched from a distance, unsure whether cooperation was wise. But the humans' true goal was greater than alliances. They wanted to prepare the galaxy for challenges that no single species could face alone. Cosmic storms, rogue black holes, and mysterious energy anomalies threatened every civilization. Humans had survived these perils and now sought to ensure that no species would fall due to ignorance, fear, or pride. In one demonstration, humans activated a device that stabilized a collapsing star, saving an entire system from annihilation. Alien leaders observed silently as entire planets were preserved without loss of life. The message was clear. Humans possessed power beyond imagination, but they used it with care. Meanwhile, the Trellics and other warlike species continued to plot. Some viewed humans as a threat, others as a lesson. But every action taken against humans ended in failure. Their technology, combined with strategy and foresight, made them nearly impossible to challenge directly. Back on the hidden human colonies, scientists continued to innovate. They improved starship designs, developed energy shields capable of withstanding supernova explosions, and created machines that could repair themselves and adapt to unexpected situations. Every invention strengthened their position without aggressive intent, demonstrating a philosophy of progress rather than domination. Across the galaxy, young aliens like Lyra began to tell stories of humans, not as conquerors but as saviors. Legends spread of the species that had returned from extinction stronger, wiser, and kinder than before. Some aliens still feared them, others admired them. Slowly, understanding began to replace fear. In the Orcs cluster, Commander Veery watched the skies, her thoughts conflicted. She had once feared the humans, but now she felt awe. She realized that humanity's return was more than survival, it was a message. One species had endured and learned lessons that no others had, and it was now shaping the galaxy in ways that words could not fully describe. For the humans, patience remained the guiding principle. They did not rush to power, nor did they demand recognition. They moved silently, calculated every action, and waited for the galaxy to understand that their strength was not a threat, but a promise. And somewhere in the distance, beyond the known stars, humans prepared for the next step. Aliens had begun to see them. They had begun to understand them. But the full story of humanity's return, their resilience, ingenuity, and vision, was still unfolding. The galaxy had barely glimpsed the power of humans. Soon it would witness what a species could achieve when it rose from near extinction. Not with anger, not with conquest, but with wisdom, patience, and unyielding determination. And when that day came, no alien species would ever underestimate humanity again. The galaxy was no longer whispering about humanity. It was talking loudly, some with fear, some with awe, and some with hope. Across star systems, every civilization, from the smallest settlements to the largest empires, had witnessed humans' power, intelligence, and restraint. Yet few had seen the full scope of their capabilities. That was about to change. On the bridge of the starship Eternal Dawn, Captain Alara stood with her officers, watching holographic projections of the galaxy. Each point of light represented a civilization, each line a connection of trade, communication, or energy flow. Humans had been careful to approach selectively, to demonstrate power without confrontation, but now the next step required direct interaction. "We cannot remain hidden any longer," Alara said. "The galaxy is ready, or it must be made ready. It is time to show humanity fully, not as a legend or a myth, but as a force that has endured, grown, and learned." Her officers nodded. There was no fear in the room, only resolve. For 1,000 years, humanity had survived every challenge, adapted to every environment, and strengthened itself beyond measure. Now they would prove that their return was not a threat to life, but a promise to protect it. The first display of this new presence occurred in the Erendor system, home to a powerful alien council long skeptical of humans. Ships were gathered, debates held, and fleets prepared in case humanity intended war. But when the humans arrived, nothing exploded. Instead, they deployed a massive energy shield over the system's central planet. Meteors and storms that had threatened the world were neutralized instantly. The skies cleared. Oceans stabilized. Cities once at risk of collapse were saved without a single life lost. Alien observers were stunned. Some gasped openly. Others, like Commander Veery of the Yalans, took careful notes, realizing that these actions were both deliberate and calculated. Humanity had not just returned, they had returned as guardians. Over the next weeks, humans visited multiple systems, each time performing acts that displayed control, intelligence, and ethical responsibility. They stabilized dying stars, repaired environmental damage on multiple planets, and shared knowledge that allowed alien civilizations to prevent disasters they had once considered unavoidable. Every act was measured, every intervention purposeful, yet unmistakably powerful. Not all aliens accepted this immediately. The Trellics and other warlike species still watched with suspicion. Secret fleets moved to intercept human ships. Yet whenever confrontation seemed inevitable, humans responded with precision and strategy, neutralizing potential threats without harm. Rogue weapons were disabled, hostile forces contained, and lessons were delivered quietly. Strength is measured by restraint, not destruction. The turning point came during the Great Galactic Council, a meeting of the most powerful civilizations in the known galaxy. Ambassadors, scientists, and leaders gathered to debate humanity's role in the cosmos. Many expected tension, perhaps even conflict. But when humans appeared in the council chamber, it was not with weapons raised or ships poised for attack. It was with knowledge, with guidance, and with an offer. Captain Alara addressed the assembly. "We have returned not to conquer but to ensure life survives. We offer knowledge, technology, and guidance. We do not seek dominion over your civilizations, only a shared future where all species can thrive. The galaxy is vast, full of dangers that no single species can face alone. Together, we can endure." The room was silent. Every alien present felt the weight of her words. Humans had survived extinction, mastered the stars, and grown stronger in ways no one could have imagined. Yet they spoke with humility, not arrogance. Their power was undeniable, but it was tempered by responsibility. Some leaders began to rise, literally and figuratively. Perhaps they are what the galaxy needs, one elder said. Not rulers, but partners. Others remained cautious, still questioning humanity's motives, but the message was clear. Humans had earned the right to be heard, respected, and observed. Meanwhile, in hidden corners of the galaxy, humans continued their work. Researchers explored the deepest space anomalies. Engineers developed systems to protect fragile worlds, and strategists studied alien civilizations to understand their strengths, weaknesses, and cultures. Humanity was no longer merely surviving, they were shaping the future. Back on Erendor, young alien observers like Lyra watched humans with awe. She had once feared their power, once doubted their intentions. Now she understood. Humans had not returned as conquerors. They had returned as a species who had learned from their mistakes, endured unimaginable hardships, and risen to a level of mastery that demanded respect, not submission. "Do you see?" Lyra asked her companion. "They are not here to fight. They are here to guide and to protect." Her companion nodded. "It is more than power. It is wisdom. They have endured what no other species could, and they choose to help instead of destroy." The human's presence began to change the galaxy's mindset. Alliances formed with human guidance, technological advancements spread responsibly, and disputes that might have led to war were mediated through diplomacy informed by human intelligence. Fear was gradually replaced by trust, respect, and cautious admiration. Yet humans were not naive. They understood that balance was fragile. While many species welcomed them, others still harbored fear and resentment. Humanity prepared contingency plans, not for conquest but for protection. Fleets trained, sensors monitored, and strategies evolved to prevent misuse of power or misinterpretation of intent. The human's greatest display of ingenuity came when a massive cosmic storm threatened to engulf several inhabited systems simultaneously. Alien fleets struggled to counter it, unable to predict the storm's chaotic path. Human ships arrived, deploying a network of energy conduits that absorbed and redirected the storm's energy, stabilizing multiple planets at once. Observers recorded the event in awe. Entire civilizations were saved without loss. Humanity had transformed from myth to legend before their very eyes. The Council, once skeptical, now recognized humans as essential participants in galactic affairs. Their combination of power, wisdom, and restraint made them unique. They were no longer a species thought extinct. They were the stewards of a new era, showing that survival was only the beginning, and that greatness came from perseverance, intelligence, and moral responsibility. On the human command station, Captain Alara reflected on the journey. Humanity had returned stronger than ever, not through aggression, but through endurance, innovation, and patience. They had endured extinction and emerged not only alive but capable of shaping the destiny of the galaxy. "We have shown them our strength," Alara said. "Now we must show them our purpose. Power without direction is meaningless." Humanity's return is not just survival, it is leadership, guidance, and hope. Her words resonated across the colonies. Humans prepared for the future, ready to face challenges yet unseen, to protect those who could not protect themselves, and to ensure that the galaxy, now aware of humanity's presence, could thrive together. As the stars shone across the endless void, humans moved quietly, efficiently, and with purpose. Alien civilizations, once uncertain or fearful, began to understand that humanity was a species unlike any other. They had returned not to dominate, but to endure, to teach, and to protect. And in this new era, the galaxy would never forget the species that had risen from near extinction to ascendancy, not through conquest, but through resilience, intelligence, and wisdom. Humanity had returned, and they were here to stay. The galaxies, once silent of humans, now buzzed with their presence. Ships moved with their guidance, technology advanced under their tutelage, and peace, fragile, cautious, but real, began to take root. Humans had not just returned, they had transformed the galaxy, leaving a legacy that would endure for thousands more years. For the first time in a millennium, humanity was no longer the lost species of legend. They were the architects of the future, the guardians of life, and the living proof that even from extinction, greatness could rise.